Warning, this podcast may cause excessive dad jokes, sudden bursts of motivation, and the irresistible urge to high-five yourself.
Welcome to the Daddius Project, where we help dads master the biggest and messiest project of your life, dadhood.
I'm Scott Batcher, recovering perfectionist, dad of one teenage girl, and a guy who once didn't sleep for 6 months straight.
And I'm Evan Hill, professional chaos coordinator, dad of 3 teenagers, and living proof that duct tape can fix a sippy cup temporarily.
Each week, we'll hit you with real talk, dad hacks, and the kind of inspiration that doesn't require matching socks.
Ready to level up? Let's build this dad life together.
Yo, Dada, what's up?
All right, I'm excited about this podcast. This one's gonna be focused on P4, prosperity.
You just reacted like me and my sister send like dog clips to each other where dogs react in funny ways, and it's hilarious. And you just reacted like that. This one is P.
I gotta look up that way to think.
Have you seen the some of those dog chiropractors and the way they adjust dogs and the way the dogs look?
I'm married to one.
Dude's like right up next to him like this, and he goes, and the dogs are like,
yeah.
And I'm like, man, that dog's gonna bite that dude's head off. Like,
no, they love it.
That's not me.
They love it.
They love it, but they don't know what the hell's going on. Can you imagine if you had no idea what was going on? Nobody told you anything. You just rock up and that happens. Well, I have a quick story before we get into today's podcast, which is nothing to do with anything. I was in Thailand. This was way back in the day. Not when we went. We might get into that at some point. But this is a trip I went on my own, but way back. We're talking, I'm going to say 20 years ago. And I was at a nightclub in Bangkok. And so, you know, you're having a few drinks. You gotta go pee. So I go into the urinal to have a pee. And inside this urinal is this dude, like, often there'll be people at the sink who like hand you a towel and they're looking for tips kind of thing. But this dude was next level. I'm at the toilet, literally peeing, and he comes up behind me and he's like a ninja. And if I wasn't a chiropractor and had been adjusted thousands of times, I would have been that dog. What the hell? He comes up behind me and he's like, he wraps his leg around my leg while I'm peeing.
What the?
No words were said. But the dude could adjust.
Really?
He was good. He was better than half the chiropractors I've been to.
Wow.
Like, it was crazy. But can you imagine? He didn't know I was a chiropractor. He literally didn't say a word. And he comes up behind me. I'm like, what the hell? That was amazing. Thank you, dude. But what?
That must have interrupted the stream, though. Like, there's no way I'm peeing while that's happening.
Well, honestly, It was 20 years ago. I can't remember if my stream was still strong as this was happening, but I was literally peeing as he started to do it. Maybe there was a little sphincter and I stopped peeing for a second. I can't quite remember that, but yeah,
guaranteed the stream stopped.
Probably just self-preservation, right?
I think so.
It's a preservation thing.
I think it switches the nervous system channel that's going on. It goes
it's a protective mechanism.
Yeah, you're shifting.
And I am, at a nightclub in Bangkok. I don't want pee all over my pants. So
that is the most insane story.
So,
like, that's just
segue
outrageous.
into...
It's absolutely outrageous. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything, which is what you said. I love it.
That's right. Absolutely nothing to do. All right. Sorry, folks.
I love the grasp. I love our grasp of the English language. Like, it's
yes.
Oh my god, it's awesome. Okay.
So Ev saw Ev saw a post from the guy. What's his name again? Let's give him some props. Richard somebody?
Rich Sommers.
Rich Solmers.
Mm.
Shout out to Rich. Tell him about the post and what prompted our episode topic today.
Well, I mean, a big part of the Daddius project is prosperity, and so that's P4. And this guy writes, it takes the typical self-made millionaire over 30 years to obtain their wealth. Less than 1% do it before the age of 40. This game takes time. The average millionaire is 57. The average billionaire is 67. Don't forget this on your way to financial freedom. So, I mean, I think that I guess the first thing that comes to mind is money mindset. I think that we look at the conversation about money, and there's a lot of different ways that people think about money and what it means to them. And so I thought, why don't I just look into this and be like, does it really make a difference in your level of happiness if you have more money? And there's a little bit of a conflict here, but I think there is also something we can take from this. So the average income where there is a significant improvement in overall well-being is the point where people hit a $75,000 a year income. And then it was thought that emotional improvements in overall life happiness wasn't going up at the same level, and it was flattening off at that point. But then another study was done, and they found that actually there is still an improvement that occurs as income goes up, but it's just much more gradual. And we look at what does money really provide for us, and I really like this because it really brings it down to a few things. And the first one is security, which is a basic human need, to be able to provide ourselves with house and food, and those are the big ones, but like clothes and the ability to transport yourself, where you need to go, these sorts of things. Some like the basic necessities. So security is one. The other one is
clearly Ev can't afford like a proper t-shirt. So no. Like the clothing one is number 3. He's got the house, he's got some food, although sometimes you might think he doesn't have food with his negative 3% body fat. And then he has no shirts with sleeves. So anyways, take what you can with that.
That's right. So clothing is optional. I mean, in this scenario,
especially in Ev's world,
in my world, and food is optional as well. I live off the sun.
A sunarian, a breatharian.
In case you didn't know, I sit on a ballsy. But what are they called? Those balls that
I've only ever known them to be called physio balls, but
physio balls. Okay, there's another name for it.
A big bouncy ball.
That's what I sit on, and I almost fell off just there.
That would be great because we're recording, and we would absolutely see. I edit, so that would be staying in.
That would be staying
100%.
Yeah. Well, we know with your editing that everything stays in. So
pretty much, my editing is. I'm gonna try and get better as we go.
Okay, what you see is what you get. This is
what you see is what you get.
This is the uncut version.
Stories about peeing in a Bangkok nightclub.
That's right.
Only here, folks. Version. Only here. Uncut.
So the money and what it's giving us is security, freedom, and adventure. The ability to buy trips and like do various things. And freedom to make choices that you otherwise wouldn't make. But there's so many things that money can't buy.
There is. I've heard it called by a mentor of mine, and I cannot remember who it was. So sorry if you're listening and
It's
you go, "Hey,
Evan.
I told
Evan
him
Hill.
that."
Yeah.
It was Evan. It was Evan, and they basically said money is a magnifier. And so the idea behind that is, once your basic needs are met, you're, roughly say 75K, depending on where you live, etc. Once those basic needs are met, the more money you get, like Ev said, that curve, that bell curve, or whatever you want to call it, levels out. So you don't get as happy if you're making more money, but you can be happier if you're already happy, right? If you are already a happy person, more money will make you more happy. But if you're a dick, more money will actually make you more a dick. Right? So be careful what you have before you make the money, because, there's just as much, maybe more sometimes, when you start hearing about it, anxieties and depressions around people who have more money, right? It doesn't necessarily make you happy.
Yeah, which leads into this other part that, those things that you need money for, security and freedom um and opportunities. And then there's the other side, which money can't buy, which is health. There's that saying, um, you probably got a lot of problems, but once your health, there's something going on with your health, you have one problem. And it's at that point where, if you get into a crisis situation, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't buy your health back. You could maybe afford to get some treatments and so on, but there's no like slapping down $1 billion and being like and having a new body. I love that quote by Jim Rohn. You've got you've got one place to live. That's it. You got one place to
Is
live.
Jim Rohn a distant relative to Jim Rowan? Is that who you're talking about? Jim
Oh,
Rowan?
and you just say it differently. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah,
Yeah.
Ron. I don't know,
Yeah.
Ron and Rowan. I'm not sure.
I,
Anyway.
I you sound a lot like my wife right now. I swear we spend probably 10 to 15% of every dinner correcting how I say things. And it's funny because I learn a lot. I get better every dinner at language. So now I'm almost perfect. Except that one
Except
I
for
I,
Ron.
I missed Jim Rowan.
I'm glad I could, you know,
Yeah.
help with that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
So the
maybe
quote,
uh, maybe your wife and I need to just compare notes, just to make
well,
sure that your pronunciation is getting better all the time.
I think you're doing just fine already without any prompting.
Okay.
So we'll just keep you two separated.
Okay. All right.
So it's take good care take good care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Jim Ron.
Oh, jeez, I got to snort out.
Oh, good one. We're leaving that in.
uh, I just want to try this. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. I don't know if that's even going to work, and it is unedited,
Oh,
so we'll find
oh,
out.
you clapped for me. Okay, got it.
Yes.
It was so
Yeah.
faint. I was like, what is he doing? Good job. Okay.
Well,
Now hit this
I
little.
actually clapped for Jim Ron.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's the one who had the quote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So also when I don't know who this guy is that posted this. Maybe he is a big deal. Like he's got, like that. This is his line of. He's got like a master's or whatever in economics, and I don't know. I don't know what his experience is. So I thought, well, let's just look into it. What is the average age of a self-made millionaire? And so, that self-made millionaire is basically like you just didn't get it handed down to you, like you work for it. You made decisions, like you had to put into action a plan and execute moves and so on. So that's what we're talking about, self-made. So the average age is 57. So he's saying 30 years. That chat saying 20 to 30 years of earning and making good decisions with investments and so on is what makes it happen, and it happens around that pocket of 57. So that's very accurate. So kudos to him. And then the next level, which we're in his post, he's saying billionaire is the next level. There's a lot of other levels.
There's a couple of levels.
Let's just what's 10 million? What's that?
That's a deca millionaire.
Okay.
I think. And then 100 million's a centimillionaire.
Okay. So I think, like, okay, we don't have stats on that, but let's say billionaire is 65 to 67 age is the average age of a billionaire. Interestingly, 1%, approximately 1 to 1.5% of the world's population is a millionaire. In the US, it's about 8 to 9%. So there's just some stats out here, but he mentions in it, like, remember that while you're in the process of financial freedom. And being a millionaire doesn't mean you're financially free. So it's
by no means.
By absolutely no means. It's completely misleading. Completely misleading. All that 1% of people globally, and 8 or 9% of U.S. population that are millionaires, it does not mean anything to do with financial freedom. Like zero. Okay, financial freedom is a cash flow equation where you have money coming in from a passive source. Like, you could literally stop doing what you're doing and you have enough money coming in that is covering your expenses. That's financial freedom. Having $1 million in your home, because, like, this is to say your home is worth $1 million and it's paid off, that qualifies you as a millionaire. But certainly doesn't mean that you're financially free whatsoever. So that's actually the stat we should have been asking. How many people have financial freedom? But what I wanted to do was,
would be very much lower. Very, 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 very much lower.
Very much lower. Yeah.
If you, particularly over the last few years, if you're a homeowner in any way, shape, or form, I'll talk for Australia more than anywhere else because that's the market I know better. But if you had a home that was worth $500,000 pre-COVID, it's probably worth $1 million now, right? So you may have the paper assets or the what's the word I'm looking for? Equity, but that's not going to change you day to day right now.
No.
So cash flow is king in that situation. But in reality, what we're talking about is just trying to do something with money, right? Do something. Most of us out there are struggling in the money field of some description and not knowing what to do and not thinking there's any way forward, not thinking there's any way to do anything about it because just the day-to-day is such a hard situation to come through.
So going back to this post, which the more we talk about it, the more I dislike it, because it's misleading. It's as though reaching for millionaire or even billionaire is the worthy objective. And really, it's you could have somebody who's making $60,000 a year, and they could potentially achieve financial freedom with that if they play the long game. And eventually they'll be a millionaire, but they could be financially free long before they're a millionaire. So there's definitely some nuances here that need to be considered, and definitely this concept of becoming a millionaire and acquiring wealth. It's really, it's not what we're, that's not what we're about in prosperity, in how we're,
if you want to think about it, like basically the idea of, I call it the silver bullet. We've all fallen prey to it in some way or another. Can't believe this is going to come up again, Ev. Buy Bitcoin at the high, sell at the low. It's going to make it's going to make you a millionaire.
Yeah.
And so that the silver bullet is like, what's the one thing we can do, or that thing that sounds so incredibly amazing? I just have to invest in this and it's going to go to the moon, right? And in all reality, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I've fallen prey to a few pie in the sky situations over my time, and so has Evan. We are not immune to that, but we've also been, I don't know if you call it lucky or whatever you want to call it, but looking at the long term at the same time. So we never really, well, I'll speak for myself and maybe you'll agree with this, Ev. I've never really played that game with money that I couldn't lose and not have it really affect my lifestyle. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. Like, I don't know your situation that well.
No. I'm talking for
Oh,
your situation. Like
okay.
when
Yeah.
when you've had a gamble on something that was pie in the sky. I wasn't like mortgaging the house to take money out to do it because oh my god, if I can put a 100,000 in this, it's going to be 10 million next year. Oh my god, I better take all the money I can, mortgage the house, do this, do that. All my savings, everything's gone into this one amazing process because it's gonna be amazing type of thing.
Yeah. I actually, I have made a mistake with other people's money, meaning I used a line of credit for when I bought crypto actually. And
It keeps
so
getting better with crypto with you.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know
I mean,
that.
crypto's been just amazing. Yeah. Um, it's so funny. If I had just done what I originally had, the whole idea was buy a couple Bitcoin and call it a day and just let it, and just ride it out. But, I think it, it's not a good idea, but like what I did was not a good idea. It would have worked out wonderfully if I had just played the long game with that. But I started playing around with trading it for alternative coins and it was like while things were sinking and just the ratios didn't work in my favor. And and actually I just held it and it has come back very close to my original investment. Um, so I didn't lose what I had until one of the companies just went bankrupt. So I did end up losing, but it wasn't because of my move. The idea here is we're talking about leverage and I am I'm a proponent of using other people's money to get ahead. So in the case of putting money into an investment like a stock or a crypto, I am not a proponent of that. Okay, I made a mistake. But when it comes to because it really is a form of it's like it is like gambling in a way. Okay, you don't have any control whatsoever of which way it's going to go. And Donald Trump could say something on the media and your investment could be down 20% in a week. And that's just completely out of your control. Or there's so many global things or in the smaller region areas of where the company is and so on that could happen that could impact your investment. Um, so that said, I think like Scott is the way he said it, it's I didn't spend any money in investments that couldn't afford losing. And I think that is the way to invest is use your money, whether that's $10 a day you put in, $5 a day, or whatever. And actually investing is out of all the ways that people get to, we'll call it millionaire status, but I'm going to say like financial freedom is through investing. That's like 60 to 64% of the US population are investing versus what was it like 14% of people are so investing in the stock market, whereas about 14% are investing in real estate, have actually, sorry, 14% have a rental property. So out of all the ways that people can create leverage, investing is by far the largest. And I think we talked about this earlier. It's because the entry is a lot less than the entry into real estate typically. There's going to be more of a down payment, so more barrier to entry, that sort of thing. Um, then you have owning your own business is another great way for leverage. If you have employees working for you and the business is running itself, that's a great way to leverage and to create wealth. But again, it's a very low percentage of people that are doing that. Like what was the percentage of people that do that, Scott?
I have no idea. You looked that
It's
up. I did
14,
not.
14 to 16% of adults own or run a business. And it's actually, sorry, it was 6.7% of people own a rental property. 6.7,
Hmm.
right? Versus 60 to 62% who are investing in the stock market. Um, and then another one we talk about is network marketing. Only 2% of people are involved in, and these are all US stats, are involved in network marketing. So when we look at um, if we look at the game of financial freedom, you have to be in the game. And those are the different elements of being in the game through investing, whether it be in the stock market or in real estate or owning a business where you're leveraging other people's energy and effort, being employees, network marketing. These are all ways that you're either leveraging people or you're leveraging money. I know that sounds bad when you say leveraging people, but when you think about it, and there's only 14% of people that are owning and running a business, that means the rest of the people are employees. And that's how we improve production. That's how we that's how we create wealth is and it doesn't mean that those people that are employees are poor. They can reach financial freedom as well if they're smart with their decision making, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts on this post. At first, I thought interesting post, and then I thought, again,
I, I- Funny. I think it's as we've talked about it, you've liked it less and less.
yeah,
Um,
I just like it now.
initially was this is a great post. Let's dive deeper on this. And some of those stats I think I want to talk about in that we're kind of making an assumption here. If there's about 15% of people who are business owners, that means 85. My math's right on that. 85% are employees. And so the vast majority of dads listening to this are going to be employees. And so how do you get ahead, right? We got to play the long game. That is the absolute essential, right? We're never going to become financially free or any of those big pie in the sky stuff overnight as an employee or in any description. It's that whole back to the silver bullet scenario. There is no, unless you absolutely fluke into it, situation where you're going to make a ton of money and be financially free overnight. You got to play the long game. So easy stuff is low lying fruit. Just start investing in an index fund. That's what you can do as little as $5 a day. And if I hear you, I'm not going to hear you. You can't. You can hear me, but I can't hear you if you're listening. But I can hear the collective sigh. I don't have any money left over, and in reality, it comes back to priorities for that, right? What are you spending your money on? And unless it is literally those absolute basics, if you are your shelter and food, and then you literally have no money left after that, that's a problem. And you want to look at ways of making more money. But discretionary income is a huge problem for a lot of people. Making a budget, sticking to a budget, going, okay, this is the amount of money we have, and how do we squirrel away $5 a day? I don't think, in all reality, if you take a deep dive, there's many people out there listening who can't figure out $5 a day. If you put $5 a day away for 30 years, that ends up being about $150,000 cash, right? So that stuff adds up. It's not a millionaire, but it will make a dramatic difference in your life. So, we can dive deep into each of the different factors of how to make money on a separate podcast, but we're just looking at, that big picture right now and giving you guys just some kind of ideas about what to do. If you feel stuck, there's no way I'm ever going to get out of the rat race. It's not going to happen overnight. It really has to be a long-term approach, just like everything to do with health, with wealth, with your relationships. It is about playing the long game.
Lottery tickets is not the long game. that's
Again, that's the 1 in a millions, right? That you could win, but to get back to happiness, they've done studies on that stuff where 5 years after somebody wins the lottery, they're no happier than when they won.
Or they're right back to square one. Same.
Well, that's probably why they're just as happy or not happier, because they end up blowing it.
Yeah.
If you win the lottery and you go, I'm going to buy this and buy this and buy this and buy this, and then you got no money left. Say, whoa, wait a minute. That's probably not ideal.
Yeah. And this is why when you're talking about 20 to 30 years to acquire like millionaire status, there's elements of mindset. There's the money mindset that goes along with it. And we talk about it in the book. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water, and imagine the water is cash, but your bucket has holes in it, and those holes are your mindset around money. And if those holes aren't closed up, then the money's going to come into your life and it's going to flow right through the bucket and end up somewhere else. And it won't accumulate. It won't do those things that money can do for people that improves their emotional well-being up to that certain point. It's a significant improvement. And so, yeah, what we're saying with the long game, that's absolutely critical. The other point I want to make to close off is that, when we read a post about being how quickly, or not how quickly, how long it takes for somebody to reach millionaire, and that the average age is 57. And let's say you're 50 right now and you're not even close to millionaire. I'm here to say that actually doesn't really matter. Okay, it's a cash flow game is what matters. And if you can, if you can work hard and put some money and buy, you buy a rental property and it's producing some good cash flow, and then all of a sudden you've got some more freedom in your life, like that's more than most people. Most people are relying completely on their paycheck each time. And if their paycheck stops, then they're in trouble. And so what Daddius would do, Daddius would be focusing on building multiple streams of revenue, multiple streams of income, having a business, investing, having real estate, network marketing. All these things are ways that you can create residual income and really change your position. And again, it's not about getting to that millionaire status. It's about the equation. Is your cash flow that's coming in from residual streams more than what your expenses are? And if you can do that, doesn't matter what your status is, from like Deca, Centa, billionaire. No. So, any closing thoughts for you, Scott?
Yeah, I just want to throw out a dad poll. How are you guys making your money? Write down, are you employee? Are you self-employed? Do you have a business? Do you have an investment? Do you do the stock market? Do you do the share market? Do you have a side hustle? Do you drive Uber at night after your day job? Or do you have a podcast or sell hockey cards? Or, just curious what you guys do to, get ahead a little bit. And do you have a plan? That's another big one. Do you have some kind of plan moving forward? And it may not be a perfect plan, but is there some kind of motion, right? Some kind of forward momentum if you don't have that right now, then
Get the book.
think about it. Do something about it. Again, as little as $5 a day can make a dramatic difference in the long game. And I think that's the best way to clue up this one is it's a long game, baby.
Long game, and it doesn't have to be sexy either. That's the other thing. That's my
Well, it
last
actually
that's my last point.
the
It's
the less sexy it is, the better. You know, if
yeah,
it's something you
just
can automate and not even think about every now and
yeah,
again, once a year, have a look and go, oh, yep, that looks good.
yeah. We
That's the
we
best way to do it.
we Airbnb'd our basement of our house for many years. And I remember we were one of the first people that, in my social circles that was doing Airbnb, and I was doing it in my house. And I remember thinking like, man, this is, from an optics perspective, this is probably not the best. We're two chiros working, I mean, we're Airbnb our basement to make ends meet. But I was always about someone else paying my mortgage.
Mm.
That was my thing. I was like, I want to live with someone else paying my mortgage, to the point that our first house that we bought, I didn't buy it for us. I bought it for people to rent. So when it came
Mm.
time for us to move out of our parents' place, that was paying for our rent. And then we went from rent to owning a place, and then we rented part of it. So it was, it doesn't have to be sexy. Those decisions that we made then, um, because we played the long game, made a big difference down the road. And now I look back and I was like, okay, those were smart decisions that helped us get to this point now. And yeah, it wasn't amazing. There was sacrifices that we had to make because we didn't have that part of our house to ourselves. And there was sometimes not the best guess, that were making sounds and they could come through. There's definitely some challenges with it, but it paid off. And there can be some inconvenience to doing these things that, in the long game, just like the inconvenience of working out on your body and, getting up, each day at a certain time and, executing your habits. And, there's so many things that can be inconvenient, but there's that other side of it, that discipline is freedom. Discipline is freedom.
Yeah, there was. I think we got a quote in the book, something like, I'm probably going to butcher it.
Probably.
Do what most people are not doing today to get what most people will not have tomorrow.
Yeah, good
I
enough.
think it was Jerry Reese. Is that how you say his last
Yeah.
name? Reese? Oh no, sorry,
Jerry
Rice.
Rice.
Reese.
Jerry
Rice.
Rice. Yeah.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. He was a
And
football player. He was
he was
a
he. Yeah, I think he was cousins to Jim Ron.
I think they
I think it
ran
was Jim Ron's
together.
cousin.
Did they run
Yeah,
together in the rice
I
fields?
think so.
I think so.
The rice fields.
Jesus Christ. Jerry Ross.
Jerry,
He's like
Jerry
one of
Reese.
the I think he's like one of the best wide receivers of all time.
I
Jerry
believe
Rice.
so.
Do today what others won't do, so you can do tomorrow what others can't.
Oh,
Something
there you
like
go.
that.
I did butcher that quote. You got it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Nice.
I mean, but I'm this thing about like comparing to others. Yes, that's a measuring stick. But Scott, he talked about having your own plan, and that's the measuring stick. Like, are you moving towards your plan and having, like we were talking about these? Actually didn't say these things because this is a great way to finish off. Is the happiness factor? There's that element where money plays a role, and then it levels off, and that, even people that have like insane wealth can be unhappy because a lot of the things that really matter in the happiness scale are we can't buy. So we talked about it with health. So that's an obvious one. And the other one is relationships, purpose, and gratitude. Those are the others. And we don't have to pay to have purpose. We don't have to pay to have gratitude. in relationships and being with people. Again, this is something that money can't buy. And so, yeah, to wrap, like Daddius is about making a plan and executing that plan over time, being disciplined. Highly recommend get on Daddius.com, do the Daddius score, and see where you're at with the P6. And maybe prosperity is the one that you get some surprises in there, and dive into that chapter and read. We've got loads of information in there to help, with you formulating some ideas and some plans and getting your vision sorted. So,
and it might be, like I said earlier, looking for a side hustle. Because, man, I'd love to get paid to sleep. It'd be my dream job. That's another episode in the books, dads. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was dadhood.
True story. For more tools to build your best dad life, grab our book, The Daddius Project, or join us at Daddius.com.
And hey, if you learned one thing today, you're already winning. Even if that one thing was never trust a 3-year-old with glitter.
Words to live by. Now go forth and dad like a pro.